Oh, I'm partial to Humpty Dumpty.
Well, hi, everybody.
Oh my God, it's him! Oh, he's so cute!
He makes the best eggs.
Yet again, and randomly chosen, these are the 5 best and/or worst modern cartoons in no particular order. It's Juice and Jam time. I've never seen a real-life photo of Dr. Seuss, nor do I plan to.
My master is not only the strongest Pokemon trainer, but also the strongest Pokemon in existence, MewTwo.
MewTwo?
What a waste of goddamn time. Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. All this movie is a shot-for-shot remake of the first movie. That's it. Nearly all the same jokes, Easter eggs, and whatever. It's pointless and comparable to the remakes of The Lion King or Psycho. Same story. Scientists create the most powerful Pokemon by finding some ancient Mew semen, and they create Mewtwo, who turns evil. It's like Jurassic Park with less spunk. On its own, it's fine, but as a remake, they could have added more. Like, you know about the uncut story of Mewtwo, right?
Maybe it makes a difference to you if you're a Pokemon or a person, but not to me. If you're in this place, I guess you must be the same as all of us are. Squirtle.
It was a 10-minute short film that was played before the TV airings of the first movie in Japan. It was about Mewtwo's fetus being developed and having visions where he befriends this spirit. It really adds a lot to Mewtwo's character. I was hoping this remake would also include that in to make it a definitive edition. That'd be great, but no. What was the point of this?
Money.
Well, the CG is nice, I guess. At first, when I saw a screenshot, I thought it was a Robot Chicken skit, but, you know, I think it still looks really nice. The lighting's good, and there's some cool tracking shots. Also, from what I've heard, the dub is more accurate now.
Who asked for me to be created? I despise everything connected with my creation. You are the ones who created me, and I will strike back against you.
You can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
It's more accurate. I wouldn't say it's accurate to anything that's well written. It's still a script that spoon feeds info to the audience. There was so much they could have done. Just look at the Digimon movie. One of its segments got a pseudo remake that's way better and done by the same director. That movie being Summer Wars, one of my favorite anime films. That's what Pokemon should have done, but nah. This is just a reskin. But as its own thing, is it good? It's the same movie. You'll like that. You'll like this. To me, the original was an okay movie with a really sad yet pretty stupid climax. Loved it as a kid, but in retrospect, it ain't no Lion King. We act like we grew up with only quality cartoons, but we still had a lot of stuff like this crap that's only classic because we were 5 years old with no standards. The ultimate life form, better run up and punch it. So congrats on being an okay remake to an okay movie. Yay. Why remake bad movies and make them better when you can just remake bad movies and just make them the same? Also, they got rid of the dated 90s music in the remake, so fuck them.
Harley Quinn? I mean, you think we're afraid of the Joker's girlfriend?
So here's the deal. Are you gonna shut the fuck up so I can talk?
I need a lot of pain!
Oh, just give it a minute, you'll go into shock. Yeah, there it is.
Alright, which streaming service is this on? DC Universe? Who has that? Whatever, Harley Quinn, the animated series. It may look like an action cartoon, but it's more of a raunchy adult comedy with some action. I've heard it be compared to Venture Brothers, true, but I kinda also see a lot of Drawn Together in it, which is a major compliment coming from me. Drawn Together greatly influenced my horrendous sense of humor, which is why I can never legally go to Japan after that one video I did. You know the one. Anyway, this is a cartoon about Harley breaking up with the Joker and wanting to prove she can be a real villain without him, so she unites her own legion of evildoers. Of course, there's Ivy, who just radiates She-Go from Kim Possible energy.
And where is that stupid neighbor kid I hired to water them, for fuck's sake?
He quit after a week. Very unprofessional.
Really, Frank? What if his parents come to look for him?
Unlikely.
What am I doing here?
But there's also lesser-known villains given the spotlight. While this parody full of recognizable and obscure characters can fall into the trap of having everyone just be an asshole as a personality, each one of them is very distinct with their own motives and morals. It's a show full of internal conflict, with Harley just trying to be accepted and getting over her past issues. That's way more character than I was expecting from this kind of silly show.
This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual.
Premise-wise, it's kind of like the Birds of Prey movie released near the same time. I had a lot of fun with that movie, loved the action, and I wish Margot Robbie would acknowledge the Kraft mac and cheese statue I made of her. Although the first act is pointlessly convoluted for just a simple, go find this diamond mission, and I didn't care for the other characters taking things more seriously. The cartoon, on the other hand, is more of the fun I wanted while balancing the character drama better. DC releasing a movie and a somewhat related cartoon near the same time that ended up being better is just typical. If there's gonna be a sudden rise of Kite Man fans among people who don't read comics, I think this show will do it. But my favorite was Bane, whose voice is imitating the Dark Knight Rises Bane.
Hey, Fish Dick, why don't you go back to the ocean?
Otherwise known as the world's toilet. Oh, so no ocean jokes. It seems like politically correct culture is killing the comedy.
As for the art, the characters look great, the backgrounds are kind of sketchy, I'm not sure if I like them, but what I do have an issue with is those times they use live-action stock particle effects. It looks very off to see splatters and smoke effects like these, and the action can swing between being dynamic to a little stiff. It's very inconsistent art-wise.
Bring it, bitch!
While Harley Quinn the series can look like another dumb superhero parody show, there's plenty of character growth and action to separate itself from that. If it gets more airtime on TV or a more popular streaming service like HBO Max, I can see it really taking off.
Hey, I was just gonna see if you need any help, but you seem good. Love the new look. Gonna go pick up some Thai food. Text me what you want.
Damn, I can't believe a cartoon that existed to sell toys and was derivative of its era sold out to make something derivative of this era. Who would have guessed it? Yeah, okay, here's a reboot. I'm tired of repeating myself, so here's a little card to explain why I'm reviewing this as its own thing without much comparison. Look, it's the third reboot in the span of 10 years. If you don't like it, they're just gonna reboot it again later. Maybe Powerhouse Animation will do something. I don't know, that'd be cool.
I have a bolo whip, and it's a lot more effective than super strength. The whip is useless, we're doomed!
Thundercats Roar XD! These space warriors land on a planet and they fight evil while having fun. It's like Teen Titans Go! Ignoring the art for now, the primary issue is the characters aren't very unique. They're all the fun-loving man-child among two actual children. Besides Panthro acting a little more responsible, everybody acts too similar. Until randomly on episode 6, suddenly Tigra is meant to be the book-smart one. That's kind of out of nowhere.
What's the point of being the coolest Thundercat if you don't even have any fans around?
Come on now, Chitara. I think we can say we're all the coolest Thundercats.
No. Okay, nobody parties but me.
Yes. And we party.
No.
Yeah, just Rod.
Yes.
And me.
No. I'm the only one who parties.
I'm pretty sure I've partied before.
No, Kevin, I know for a fact you don't party, okay?
I just reviewed the Harley Quinn cartoon, another parody of pre-existing characters, yet each one in that main group I can tell you a lot more about. Same for Teen Titans Go, except for maybe Beast Boy and Cyborg. They're a little interchangeable. Not so much with Thundercats. Everybody's too similar. I think it was a poor choice to make everyone silly most of the time. Lino in the original was a child trapped in the body of a full-grown adult. Here, I don't think that's the case. I think he's just an immature adult among other immature adults. They could have played up the Billy Madison aspect of him being a man-child. It's really a missed opportunity.
The lair is a total disaster. I love the new design. Watch this.
While I can appreciate a more cartoony show, I do not care for these designs, personally. On the contrary, I actually like the villain designs a lot better. Mumra and the rest of the baddies would look good on a shirt, not so much any of the heroes. I guess they're trying to make them look dorky, uncool, or awkward, which, yeah, those outfits were pretty dumb. Also, I'm very disappointed at the lack of nudity. I can see why fans and people that pretend they cared about Thundercats are pissed.
Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?
Weak designs, yet the animation is the opposite during the action. The jittery yet dynamic movement and the way they frame the camera feels like a fanzine brought to life. It's like a weird music video or an anthology short that got a whole series. Although with the simplistic style, it's very easy on the eyes to follow the chaos. If this was like a web cartoon parody made by one guy, people would have loved it.
Looks like it's time for the finishing blow. Once I get up there.
Comedy-wise, I feel it's derivative, doing what Teen Titans Go and any other cartoon of this type is doing. Gotta have text pop out with an announcer voice, you know?
Curiosity fail!
As a person who actually likes Teen Titans Go and Rise of the TMNT, I don't feel Roar is up to those standards. If it weren't for the dynamic animation, I would have called it a generic rehash in the same light as the Powerpuff Girls reboot, which I hated. Also, if anyone works on that show and is watching this, I am very sorry for how I acted at Comic-Con years ago, though I do not regret saying you all should remake the Beatles episode with nothing but Oasis references. That'd be funny.
Over there! What that? Oh, I still don't know what that is.
Maybe character-wise, Thundercats Roar can improve itself. It does feel like a group was told, hey, make a goofy version of some 80s cartoon, and they made it to the best of their animation abilities. Writing-wise, not as much. As of now, it's okay. Although what bugs me is people cite this as the end of animation or whatever. For people who say they don't care about reboots, they only talk about reboots. 2019 is one of the best years for TV and streaming animation with so many cartoons of different styles. There's all this great stuff I wish I could have covered for this list, but I can only edit so much per video. But apparently this character's head shape is vaguely reminiscent of several shows that mostly aren't even making episodes anymore. But the real problem Roar represents is, where's the action cartoons? Well, here's an explanation. Anyway, while TV's dead for action shows, I have more faith in what streaming is gonna give us in the next few years.
Whatever this place has in store for us, we'll be ready! Thundercats! Ho! Ho!
We'll be back with more cartoons after these messages.
Coming up next, Thundercats on Toonami. Say that with me. Toonami. Toonami. Kinda makes you feel all tingly, doesn't it?
Live from Galactic Syndicate studio ship Integritus, this is Alien Newsdesk. Greetings, Galactic News Hounds.
You ever watch something that feels like a weird niche cartoon that only lasted one season on MTV decades ago that only weirdos bring up randomly to gush about how some obscure hot female character is featured there? Anyway, this is SyFy Channel's Alien Newsdesk. It's exactly what it sounds like, a news broadcast by aliens reporting on Earth news without knowing how Earth customs work. It's such a cutesy, kinda wholesome idea that sometimes throws me off guard when they do adult humor. It's like, oh yeah, this premise isn't for kids, it's an adult thing, I forgot.
Their current leader is this wretched warlock, Queen Elizabeth II. Seen here with her legion of hellhounds.
The secret to her longevity? She appears to have split her soul into thousands of pieces and deposited them in wallets throughout the Commonwealth, rendering her unkillable.
For centuries, the people of Ook have lived under the pale, mottled thumb of Queen Ai and her inbred progenitors.
Because animation takes a long time and it being written by many Saturday Night Live writers, they try to remain timeless, but they will riff on stuff that ends up on the news often. General topics about Trump or kneeling during a football game without being too specific. So I think the show will mostly age well for about 4 to 8 years. Hey, you can pretend this transmission took a long time getting here.
In other news, humans apparently think we look like shit. More on that as it develops.
Alien Newsdesk is nothing but a news broadcast, obviously. You'll never see the reporters behind the scenes or what they do at home or anything. The only break of them talking are the fake commercials, and that's it. I really gotta respect their dedication to its own universe's rules. It's almost like a fake TV show you'd see in the background of another TV show. But I gotta confess something.
Hubba hubba.
I'm in love with a stupid robot girl, okay? Tuva Von Void. God.
I love you, Tuva.
Ugh, countdown to self-destruct. 3, 2...
Alien Newsdesk is a fun little idea. Not every segment works, but I like the simplicity of its kinda gimmicky premise. It's amusing.
And humans continue to deny climate change, even as this building melts to the ground. I'm Tuva Van Void.
And I'm Drex Drudlar.
This broadcast has been terminated.
But first, this video is sponsored by Audible. Reading books, that takes forever. You can't play video games while doing that. Oops, sorry. That's why I prefer audiobooks. We're in the future now. It's a new decade. You gotta read and play video games if you want to survive this dystopia. Use the links below to go to audible.com/Rebeltaxi or text Rebeltaxi to 500-500. You'll get a 30-day free trial along with your choice of an audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. You know what they got on here? Like a lot. Like a bunch of Diary of the Wimpy Kids books and autobiographies like of this guy. What's his deal, huh? It's pretty interesting. But what if, let's say, you didn't like the book or the audio file of the book you bought happens to be haunted and you're afraid no one will believe you? Just exchange it. No questions asked. Again, use the links below to go to audible.com/Rebeltaxi or text Rebeltaxi to 500-500. You'll get a 30-day free trial along with your choice of an audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. It's audible.com in the future.
Who knows what really happens when a video game starts to glitch?
The better you are at video games, the sadder you are at life. I learned that the hard way. This is Nickelodeon's Glitchtechs on Netflix. In this world, whenever a game glitches, it releases a monster wreaking havoc, which implies anyone who played a Bethesda game is fucking dead. And not just on the inside. The Glitchtechs are a secret group tasked with capturing these monsters and erasing the memory of anyone who witnessed what happened. It's kinda like Men in Black meets Pixels. If you love Rise of the TMNT's action yet wanted more character, well, that's Glitchtechs, as it follows 2 new teenage recruits, Miko and High Five. To me, I kind of see this as a throwback to 2000s era teen hero cartoons, with a weekly villain that ties into a corny positive message. It's not a binge-worthy series, and that's a good thing to me. With so many plot-driven action-adventure cartoons, it's fun and kinda nostalgic to watch a set of self-contained episodes at my own pace. Although because this follows 2 teenagers, we have yet to see them go to school, thus leading me to believe they're high school dropouts. That's my theory, at least. The animation is, I think, Toon Boom with rigged puppet animation, but it's done so well that I forget it is. The action is so wild that Netflix darkens the entire screen to avoid seizures like a 90s Pokemon episode. It's kind of annoying and you can't turn it off. Great action while the comedy is about as cheesy as anything from the 2000s, yet the music score goes all in. I really hope they release the soundtrack. Now this cartoon has my favorite useless feature in media, fictional product brands. The Glitchtechs work for a fake video game company called Hinobi, complete with its own world of titles, consoles, characters, UI, and my favorite, logos.
It's every Hinobi console game ever!
HES, Hinobi 2, Hinobi CD, Hinobi TurboTech 2K?
Oh yeah, use that Adobe Illustrator. This is a very video game-centric show with some too hip for you dialogue, like they still use the word noob, a gamer's second favorite N-word.
OM Squee! I love Castlestein!
Well, it's not the worst gamer dialogue I've heard. You ever watch Video Game High School?
I've dreamed of playing on a VGHS team since I was E for Everyone.
Yeah, I bet you want to be rated E for everyone, you fucking sicko. Kinda dated lingo, but ignoring that, it does feel like it's made by people well-versed in gaming. Like, one episode is a blatant reference to the PS1 classic Castlevania, Sodomy of the Night. Like, look at this guy. That's clearly like 3 Darkstalkers characters put together.
Can
Control point taken.
The episodes often follow a video game challenge they have to beat. They set up the rules and follow them, kind of like a challenge showdown match. It's understandable to those who don't play video games.
If you're gonna be Glitchtechs, you need to take the tutorial.
Now, Glitchtechs was a show that went through a lot of delays. Like, at one point it was thought to be canceled before it aired, when that was not the case. It was in development hell for so long, they had a Super Best Friends Plays cameo referenced in an episode. Yeah. Released 2020, this was broadcasted in 2016 or 17. Animation takes a long time. Nickelodeon kind of sat on this and several other cartoons, only to eventually dump them on Netflix, which I think that's for the best. Action shows appeal to an older audience, and streaming is becoming more accessible to people. Currently, 9 episodes are out, or I guess 10 if you count the first 2 episodes just being smushed together. But another season is planned. If everything goes well, Nickelodeon might fund more seasons. I really think Glitchtechs is one of my new favorite shows in a while. I was yearning for an episodic teen hero show, and this manages to fill that void along with Big Hero 6 the series. While Nickelodeon's TV channel has been flooded with live-action sitcoms and like 2 cartoons for years, I think them producing stuff for Netflix is gonna work out so much better at getting a broader audience. Maybe now other Nick cartoons will stand a chance rather than being dumped on Nicktoons Network, the Japanese suicide forest of animation.
Kids, welcome to Glitchtechs.
Don't give up. Challenge again.
Adam Sessler.
I'd rather suck on a urinal puck than play this game.
Why does he get to play video games and review video games on our show about video games? Why does he get to spend every day with Morgan Webb?
We've got a preview of the hottest new releases.
Yeah!
Obsessed with video games? Watch X-Play with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. Tonight at 11.
Oh.
Do you want me to open the bag, Richard?
No. I don't.